November 5th, 1944. Father Kuhn, the former priest, now commanding the Nilash, appears to have discovered the secret reason for the existence of our war factory. His followers take to shooting their guns every night in front of our garden, which is anything but a good sign. On Sunday afternoon, hordes of Hungarian Nazis break down our front gate and storm into the garden. A woman who sees them coming just manages to send off a desperate SOS to the nomenclature. The great hunt begins. The cellar, the workrooms, and the attic are searched, and all of the women are herded into the main workroom. The notorious Nazi commander, Pater Kuhn himself, appears in a black priest's robes with a wide red belt stuffed full of daggers and revolvers. He demands to see the commander. I step forward. He then proceeds to deliver a lengthy sermon to his followers, explaining to them that I, as a Christian who has lowered herself to aid Jews, am more sinful than the Jews themselves. He will arrange for me to have special treatment. When Hanna and Lily hear these words, their illusion of my being out of danger as an Aryan is destroyed. I am ordered to state the exact number of workers in our operation. If my answer should prove to be false, I would be shot immediately. I do not have the slightest idea how many women might have been able to escape through the secret openings in our garden fence. Unable to give an answer, I remain silent. Suddenly, I hear myself saying, 72. The counting begins. 71 persons are found to be present. There is a heavy silence. Suddenly, the door bursts open and a Nazi shoves a young girl who had been hiding in the toilet into the room. Father Kuhn stares at me without a word and then turns his back. Before leaving the room, he orders his soldiers to lead me away under special guard. 3 Nazis, armed to the teeth, push me to the floor, kick me repeatedly, and spit on me. The 72 women are lined up in rows. It grows dark, and a gentle rain begins to fall. We are marched off through the streets, destination unknown. The well-placed kicks into my abdomen have their effect, and I am forced to stop behind a tree. The 3 soldiers never let me out of their sight. They surround me and stare at me as if I were a dog. Strangely, only in this moment do I really notice that I have lost my freedom. After a march of about half an hour, our group is overtaken by an automobile from the War Ministry. The nomenclature had relayed our SOS to them, and the officer who embarks from the auto holds a renewed war production certification of protection in his hand. The Nazis are furious, but they are forced to release us, and we return to the cloister. I walk silently beside Hanna and Lily and ask myself in the darkness, how much longer? November 10th, 1944. Number 86. Dialogue. The fourth flame, the fourth element, is awareness of the One. Behind this word, a secret shines. Speaks and the soul trembles, but it does not comprehend the word. For the third flame, the third element, feeling, dominates your soul with vibrations irregular and vague, and the fruits are in accordance. The third flame, the third element, is feeling. Raise up your feelings and the vibration will intensify. What raises feelings? Longing? No. Faith? It is only a possibility. The force which raises feelings is the offering of yourself, the giving of yourself. Only thus can the new dwelling be attained, the fourth floor, which is meant to be your eternal home. Speaks, and the soul burns to discover the heart of the seven. The fourth degree of life, the middle of the seven, where the foot no longer walks, where it stands still, where the soul no longer requests, but always receives. Silence. I teach you. Thought is still matter. Staggering and blind, pulling you down, it is a serpent biting its own tail. Therefore its sign is the wheel revolving about itself, ruled neither by cart nor machine. Earthly smoke smoulders and the soul stumbles, faints, errs about, revolves about itself, just revolves. In the hand of the black fisherman a hook, attached to the hook the bait, the human thought. Fish, do not snap it! Your throat will be torn. The fish dies and the black fisherman smiles. The fisherman's creel fills, the catch packed tightly, the heart constricted in anguish. The soul is cast in gloom. The wheel revolves. Adam, the outcast, exchanged divine childhood for knowledge, for thought. Thoughtless, carefree joy was taken away. Light awareness was unable to come over such feelings, such thoughts. Paradise was taken from Adam. No more sinless act, no more innocence. But the Lamb is the way that leads back. And what is no longer possible on earth is possible in God. The message speaks of the new flame. It shines, it glows high above. O human being! Now you can reach it. He is the way which leads to it. He is the truth whereupon the new house is built. He is the life, the eternal life. May the fourth vibration penetrate you. Burn, but do not destroy through burning. Ignite the fire, always ignite the fire. If heaven burns in you, even the incombustible bursts into flame. Take care, listen well. Always listen to the word, the eternal, true, and only word. Let thought be bound to the eternal word. May the wheel cease to revolve around itself. The wheel is only free if it is part of that serving the whole, the one. May all awareness penetrate the thought. In the daughter of unfaithful Adam, who revolved around himself unredeemed, in the womb of the daughter of Adam, Christ was conceived. Rejoice! Eternal light shines forth. Now you are free, no longer slaves. Your eye shall see, your hand shall act the divine will. We rejoice with you. Your act and our song are touching one another. White light blazes. White light in which all colors blend together, join for eternity. Work in the clothing factory resumes in an atmosphere of oppressive fear, which increases in intensity when a German SS officer takes up residence in the villa next door. One day, a German soldier rings at the door. Panic breaks out. I hurry to the door and see, to my great relief, that it is not an SS soldier, but one from the defense forces, the Wehrmacht. It turns out that he was a student friend of Hanna in Munich and is currently working as an illustrator for the military forces newspaper. As I am talking with this decent and upright man, I suddenly have a fantastic idea. I must try to have our women protected by the SS soldiers. The Hungarian Nazis are in command here. The only authority they recognize is the German SS. I thus devised the following plan together with Hanna's soldier friend. I will prepare some illustrations for a cultural article about Hungarian folklore in exchange for an employee's identification card with a highly visible swastika stamp from the German military newspaper. The identity card is to serve as my means of introduction to the neighboring SS establishment. I have observed that the SS officer returns home only late at night, and that his soldiers are alone the entire day. And so, a few days later, I approach the neighboring garden and address the SS soldiers. As the daughter of an Austrian, I speak fluent German, and I immediately adopt the local dialect of the corporal, upon which they all see me as a fellow citizen in a foreign land. I tell them that I have given up my artistic profession so as to dedicate myself to supporting the war effort, and that I am now the directress of the war factory next door. Coincidentally, my German identity card, received immediately upon delivery of the illustrations, is in my handbag, and it succeeds in lending credence to my story. As a loyal compatriot and neighbor, I invite the soldiers to visit my plant. To spare them the long way around through the street, I have an opening made in the fence separating our adjoining gardens. The soldiers are war-weary and are delighted to come over for a glass of fine old Hungarian wine and homemade pastries. During one of their visits, I complain about the undisciplined hordes of Hungarian troops disturbing the noble efforts of our war-serving plant. Thanks to the trust inspired by my card, and perhaps also in anticipation of a rapidly approaching and fatal end of the war, the soldiers promise to protect me and my workers. The non-Aryan origins of the women are left unmentioned. All of the women are informed of the situation. Never before had the shop operated with such discipline and obvious eagerness as during the visits which the SS corporal paid to me, but which he paid mainly to the source of the wine. In case of future attack by the Hungarian Nazis, the secret opening in the fence between our gardens would serve the purpose of enabling the women and the children to flee through the garden of the SS officer to the great Jánoségi forest. Friday, November 17th, 1944. Number 87. Dialogue.
The 7 speaks, the 6 acts, the 5 sings, the 4 is all aware, it lives. In lightning light the truth penetrates the heart. The heart only knows fear if it is half rather than one, if it is part rather than whole.
To Hanna.
Listen you, the 4, the chalice fills, in your heart all the suffering dwells. Raise it up, heavenly grace streams from above. Suffering is like an empty channel through which grace can stream down, for he does not tolerate emptiness. Emptiness is the name for all suffering. Suffering is from rupture, from the lack, from the empty breach. It is filled by awareness that unites him. This virginal fire unites with him whose name is wholeness. Heaven and earth glorify the one who unifies. Without beginning, without end, we sing a song of glory.
To Lele.
Your song is heal the wound.
To Hanna.
Your song is offer your heart, maintain the balance, the 4.
To József, no longer present.
Your song is breath of heaven that earth has lost. peace that is not merely a pause between two wars, but silence, eternal peace, given a home on earth through you. To me, your song is bring down the six, the light that is given to you, strength and light, the coming light of the divine, not law, not grace, but light, pure light, uplifting force, yet also capable of searing to cinder.
To us all.
Awaken! Jesus lived. He was, and he shall be. The new is nigh. Jesus appears always and calls his disciples. He assumes a form that you can bear. For behold, every body is part of him. He is the Son. The Father has given him all. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, that all may serve under his feet. We again hear explosions from the nearby front. The devil thunders with the whirling globe in hand, the poisoned apple, the devil's only realm. Say softly, we do not need it. And that will suffice. If the light of the 7 burns in you, then darkness cannot harm you. Raise your heart high above, and then the light can come. Burn! Live! Be filled with light. Awake! Arise! Your light is needed. Your being glows. The end is near. The 7 nears. May no more doubt dwell in you. May there be no offense in you. Be perfect as the Creator conceived you perfect. When you not only think, you live, but live. Live life. Then everything becomes possible. Ask only from heaven. To the earth give. Act, and your faith will move mountains. The mountain is matter. The mountain is weight. With your little finger you can unbalance the mountain. Everything takes on new meaning. Proclaim new laws. The impossible becomes possible. Old values crumble, yesterday is gone, and all that was sinks into nothingness.
Silence.
But the immaculate, virgin matter remains, Mary. Upon her head the crown of stars, at her feet the moon. Her dress, the rays of the sun. Mary, the smile of creation. Miracle hovering above the waters. In matter, virginity. In light, matter. Light, matter, resplendent, dwells in you. The Son of Light, the 7, is born of Mary. Her name is thirst. Her name is eternal love. The new name of Mary is light awareness. She is the eternally fruit-bearing tree, there above and here below. In place of the poisoned apple, this tree bears the apple of light. Proclaim it. Deliverance is near. The 7 spoke, the 6 acted, the 5 sang the good news, which is now reality. Light.
Friday, November 24th, 1944. Number 88, Dialogue. In the silence before the dialogue, I feel an utterly intense presence, and suddenly I know that this will be our last farewell encounter. In the beginning was silence. In the silence within, sound was born. Sound is love. Sound is the son of the divine. The divine is silence. In the womb of silence reposed sound. Sound became body and was born. Love is the first radiated image. The body is love which has become matter. The divine sets in motion. Sound is vibration. Creation is radiated image. Divine love embodied. Thus life originated. From one sound, 7. From one, 2 opposite halves of life drawing together, drawing apart. From one sound, 7, and from 7, all forms of life. Miracle, wonder, endless stream of sound. Creation sings, resounds. Divine symphony, endless stream of sound, yet always the 7. The 2 halves of life and the 7 souls are the key. The 2 halves of life concentrate and disperse, draw together, draw apart. Now, drawing together. The line of the holy plan is concentration, union. The divine is silence. The divine is sound. The divine is harmony. The divine is love. The Hungarian Nazi hordes make their nightly rounds with wild yelling and shooting. Uproar, noise, confusion, destructive force which injures the law. Noise is emptiness, and this does not tolerate. Lips gone silent are not yet silence. Sing, my loved ones, sing here below. Soon the noise will end. In noise you cannot sing, but prepare yourselves, listen. Above we sing. Listen well. Learn, prepare yourselves. Be one with us. Immeasurable, everlasting love, the divine heart is ours. Cracked pitchers, defective and empty pots and vessels are smashed and cast away. That is the noise your ears now hear. Be new vessels, golden chalices, chalices of transparent gold ready to receive divine love, chalices in which eternal life can breathe. Yet even the flawless chalice is but radiated image. Silence, the Creator. Sound, the Son. Audible silence. The eye says light. The ear says sound. The hand says act. The heart says love. Understand, all of these are radiated images. The key to the hidden secret is all awareness. With the coming of the light, all can see through it. Awareness that unites the 2 halves of life, awareness that unites the 7 souls. Uniting awareness joins all together. The 4 is the heart of the 7, which attracts, concentrates, and calls all the divine blood, all the divine force to itself. Thus the 7 levels become song. Thus the 2 halves become one. The wall has crumbled and the lack is filled. The divine is number, law, salt. The one. The divine is growing, streaming love. The 2. The divine is rhythm, vibration, movement. The 3. The divine is song, free song. The 5. The divine is light, radiating, acting light. The 6. The divine is the highest. The 7. There where the two halves are wed, there the Word is born. The Word, the focal point, all awareness. Thus the millions become one. The 4. From an infinity of salts comes the all-powerful Word. The 1 and the 7. From streaming love comes acting power. The 2 and the 6. Rhythm and vibration carry the song. The 3 and the 5. May the song resound. The dividing wall has crumbled. The wall was emptiness, victory over death. In jubilation the 4 sings the glory of the 7. The 2 halves of life have become one. Believe, eternal life is already yours. The Red Army is slowly but surely descending upon Hungary. We hear daily reports of their advances in our direction. Everything in the city begins to disintegrate, and the pervading sense of the inevitable end is in the air. On December 2nd, the young girl who had been keeping watch suddenly crashes into the workroom and breathlessly informs us that a company of Hungarian Nazis has broken down the front gate and is approaching the house. I race madly out the back door and through the secret opening in the fence to our German SS neighbors to call them to help us. These are the darkest moments of my life. I know that every instant is of the essence, and I run with all the strength I can muster, yet I have a feeling of being nailed to the earth with an enormous weight. I sense impending catastrophe in every cell of my body. At last I arrive at the SS quarters. The German soldiers immediately grab their hand grenades and run with me to the clothing factory. At the sight of the approaching SS, the Hungarians retreat in confusion. My calmness returns, and I gain a clear presence of mind. While the Hungarian commander hesitates, I discreetly signal to one of the women that all the others should immediately take flight through the garden of the SS. As we stand in front of the house, an incredible development unfolds in the backyard. The German Nazis stand guard for the Jewish women and children so that they can escape from the Hungarian Nazis. 2 German soldiers take position on either side of the escape hole through our common fence and hedge, ready with their hand grenades to defend against any intervention by the Hungarians. With powerful gestures they encourage the women, quickly, run fast. At the same time, the German corporal, the Hungarian officer, and I are engaged in an animated discussion in front of the house. Then Father Klinda rushes up, completely out of breath, and he attempts with religious arguments to convince the Hungarian officer to retreat. However, the officer only turns his back and displays the deportation orders. Father Klinda sadly whispers to me that the nomenclature has no further means of influence, at which point I realize that I have only one possibility left, to try and gain as much time as possible. With this in mind, I deliberately translate the statements of the German to the Hungarian so badly that he becomes thoroughly confused. I'm not risking anything by doing this because neither of them understands a word of the other's language. So as to bewilder the Hungarian officer all the more, I wave my German identity card under his nose and declare that the sewing factory is under German protection. He is obviously impressed by the swastika on my card, for he immediately becomes polite. Now it is my turn to be threatening. I haughtily declare that there will be extremely unpleasant consequences for his military career if he should attempt to harm even a single person from our group. At that he becomes even more uncertain, and he requires time to think things over. Unfortunately, the man is quite intelligent. After several minutes, he declares himself ready to pull back his soldiers, but solely on the condition that the German commander, if only by telephone, confirms that the workshop is truly under German protection. Now the decisive moment is approaching. Time is running out. Once again, my only chance is to try and gain a few more precious minutes. A woman whispers to me that most of the women and children have fled through the secret opening to the forest. Only a handful remain who were unable to decide to flee. I angrily reply that everyone must leave the house immediately. Then the German corporal and the Hungarian officer and I move inside to the office where our telephone is located. The corporal makes contact with his superior, and as I had suspected, the German commander had not had the slightest inkling of the friendly relationship between his soldiers and their next-door neighbors, and he reprimands, then sternly instructs his corporal not to interfere in this affair. With that, my delaying tactics come to an end, and the SS soldiers retreat. Together with the Hungarian Nazis, I leave the office, and they are horrified to see that no more workers are present. The house is empty. I look out into the garden, and now it is my turn to be horrified. A group of 13 women guarded by Hungarian soldiers stands lined at attention and ready to march. It is those who are too old to flee or too weak, and those that have made the decision not to flee. Hanna and Lily. I know how much both of them love life and how foreign the idea of voluntary martyrdom is. They are not submitting to deportation without reason. On the one hand, they fear that I will be shot on the spot if the Nazis find no one to deport, and it is obvious that I have been deceiving them. I suspect an additional reason. Hanna has often said to me that of the four of us, it is I who must stay alive to save the message of the angels and give it on. The 13 women are immediately deported to Ravensbrück. Only one of the 13 women survived. She later told me that Lily was such a radiant, loving force in the death camp that her fellow prisoners would volunteer to work with the hard labor detachment, or commandos as they were called, where Lily could always be found, so as to be in her consoling, strength-giving presence. I am unable to remember much of what she told me about Hanna because I was too upset to concentrate. But there is one incident that I have not forgotten. As the SS guards shaved the heads of the prisoners, one of them called out to Hanna, "Hey, what are you doing here? With your blue eyes and your straight nose and your long blonde hair. Are you Aryan?" Hanna replied, "I am a Jew." It was certainly not the desire to be a victim that caused Hanna to answer in this way. She had conveyed the word of truth for 17 months and must have become incapable of uttering even the smallest lie. The woman added, "Had it not been for Lily and Hanna, I would not have survived." When Hanna said to us, We are not the ones who have been beaten. All of this does not touch us. Of course, I still felt the effects of the blows on my body, but the human degradation lost its power over me. I did not feel it anymore. As the Allied forces approached, the women were again herded away, naked and shorn, and packed standing tightly together into cattle cars. Ravaged by epidemics and soiled with their own excrement, most of the women starved to death. Lille died 1 hour after Hanna. The SS commander had the survivors sign a statement attesting that the others had died a natural death. József died at about the same time in a Hungarian camp. All of the women and children who fled through the garden of the SS survived.